Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to get underway with Game 2. They're about to have the meeting at the plate, the coaches and the umpires. Just to recap, the Blue Jays took Game 1 4-0. Starters for Game 2 for the Blue Jays: Primrose again leading off and playing second base. Ortega, the shortstop, and batting second. Bejarano, the first baseman, is batting third. Stevens is in the cleanup spot and playing right field. She had a big game in Game 1 with a couple doubles. Smith, the catcher, is batting in the 5 hole. Lopez, the third baseman, is batting 6th. Madison Bird, who pitched a shutout in Game 1, is in the DP role, batting in the 7th position. Soros is in the 8th spot, the center fielder. And then Zalewski, number 5, is batting in the 9 hole and playing left field. The pitcher for the Blue Jays in Game 2 is Baxter. Bulldogs mixing it up just a little bit as well. They have Jesse Jones playing center field and batting in her normal lead-up spot. But then the number two hitter is Tringrove. She moves up from 3 spot to the 2 spot, playing first base. Miley Deutsch is the DP, and she is batting in the 3 hole. Kylesia Taylor is batting cleanup, playing third base. Jenna Christensen is behind the plate and batting in the 5 hole. Allie Smith is in the 6 hole, and she's playing right field. She had the 2 of the 3 hits for the Bulldogs in Game 1. Mabry drops to the 7 spot in the lineup, but still playing shortstop. Heidi Fisher is now in the game, playing left field and batting in the 8th spot. And Taylor Perez is at second base and batting in the 9 hole. In the circle today for the Bulldogs in Game 2 is freshman right-hander Reagan Kleppe, a freshman from McKinney, Texas, who has pitched well in her freshman campaign for the Bulldogs this year. I am going to be attempting to do the stats portion of this, as well as the play-by-play for the game. So if you hear me muttering to myself, you know why. My statistician from Game 1 had to go celebrate a birthday with his mama, and so I am going to attempt to do the stats as well as play-by-play. So bear with me. We are just moments away from first pitch in Game 2. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back, leading off for the Blue Jays in the top of the first inning here in Game 2. It's Madison Primrose. And Kleppe will get the sign from Christensen. We're underway. First pitch is a ball. And the second pitch from Kleppe is going to be blooped into shallow center field through the hole at second base. And the Blue Jays have their first hit of the game. Runner at first is Primrose. Ortega steps into the batter's box, or gets actually the signs from her coach. Now she'll step into the batter's box. So Kleppe just two pitches. And Ortega shows bunt. She bunts that foul. Jenna Christensen making an extraordinary effort to try to get to that ball. The ball just bounces off of her glove. So strike one. 0-1 to Ortega. We'll see if she shows bunt here again. Bulldog defense playing her like she's going to bunt. Corners are in. She does show bunt. She fouls that one off as well. 0-2 to Ortega. Kleppe doing a nice job of giving her pitches that are tough to bunt. And we'll see if Ortega is bunting or she's swinging away. Generally, 2 strikes, you're swinging away, but we'll see. She's not showing bunt. We're going to swing, and she swings through that one. And we have the first out of the game, a strikeout for Kleppe. That'll bring up the first baseman, number 17, Bejarano. One out, runner at first base. And first pitch is a strike looking. Bejarano not showing bunt that first pitch. We'll see if she does here. Bulldogs defense at the corners just in a little bit. She's swinging, and she sends a ball into shallow right center field, and Jessie Jones comes up to make the play. 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens.
Right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens.
First pitch to Stevens is a strike on the outside corner. A strike looking there. 0-1. Pitch is in, and it's outside. Ball 1. 1-1 to Stevens, who had a pair of doubles in the game 1 to lead the Blue Jay offense as she takes ball 2. Christensen calling the pitches as she gets Stevens to swing through. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Count even at 2 apiece. Kleppe working inside, outside. She goes outside with that pitch, doesn't get Stevens to chase. Full count here, 2 outs. In baseball, we'd say the runner's going to get a head start, but that's not going to be the case in softball. Pitch to Stevens. She pops it up on the infield. Tringrove calling it, and she makes the play, and the Bulldogs are out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base for the Blue Jays in the top of the first. We'll be back. And we're back. Leading off for the Bulldogs, bottom of the first inning, we have the center fielder, number 7, Jesse Jones. Jones over in the first game. She's called out on her first at bat for stepping out of the batter's box and making contact. That's the only one he called all game. The umpire behind the plate in this game called a couple illegal pitches on the Blue Jay pitcher as Jones looks at ball 1. Second pitch on its way. Jones takes another look at it for ball 2. Jones, a slapper, starting in the back of the batter's box and moving forward as she tries to make contact with the ball. She steps forward and she chops one through the hole at second base up the middle for the Bulldogs' first hit of the game. And that will bring up Brandy Trengove, the first baseman for the Bulldogs. Jones at first base, leadoff hit. Trengove sends a ball into right field where Stevens makes this move backwards, but then has to come forward to make the play. But she does make the play for 1 out. So first pitch swinging, and Trengove sends one to right field for an out. That'll bring up the Bulldog designated player, number 11, Miley Deutsch. First pitch inside to Deutsch for ball 1. Jones with a lot of speed at first base. We'll see if she's going to test the arm of the Blue Jay catcher. Stole quite a few bases in her career. And she's staying there, but pitch is called a strike. So 1-1 count to Miley Deutsch. Second pitch, hit to the shortstop. She can't field it cleanly, but in time to get Deutsch at first base. But Deutsch does the job, moves Jones over to second base. So we have a ground out there. And that'll bring up a third baseman, Kylesia Taylor.
Third baseman number 30, Kylesia Taylor.
First pitch from Baxter to Taylor is a strike right down the middle. Jones now at second base, so anything into the grass, base hit's likely going to score Jones from second because of the speed that she has. Kylesia Taylor looking to find some sort of gap. And she takes strike 2 looking. Taylor also over in game 1. In fact, the Bulldogs only had 3 hits in game 1, and 2 of those were by Allie Smith. A third, a bunt single by Brandy Trengove. So Taylor looking to get her first hit of the day as she takes ball 1 outside. So 1 and 2, 2 outs. Jones at second base. Bulldogs looking for their first run of the day as they were shut out in game 1. Pitch on the way, it's fouled back by Taylor. She stays alive, count at 1 and 2. Baxter gets a sign and delivers, and Kylesia swings over the top of a curveball. And the Bulldogs no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. They get the leadoff runner on, but can't bring her around to score.
1 hit, no errors, not 1 left on base.
We will be back for the top of the second inning in just a moment.
Blue Jays, the catcher, number 18, Rihanna.
We are back. Top of the second inning. Leading off for the Blue Jays is the catcher, number 18, Rihanna Smith. Kleppe delivers, and that is a base hit into left field. First pitch swinging for Smith. And the Blue Jays have the leadoff hitter aboard. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 33, Lopez. See if the Blue Jays elect to play small ball here again and bunt the runner over. Lopez shows bunt, and she lays one down. A pretty bunt. Alicia Taylor fields it, and we go 5-4 on the putout. So sacrifice bunt moves Smith over to second base.
At the back for the Blue Jays, the designated player, number 10, Madison Bird.
And with one out in the inning and runner on second base, up to plate is Madison Bird, her first at bat on the day, and she takes ball one high. Bird was the starting pitcher in game one and pitched a gem 3-hit shutout. Second pitch from Kleppe, and Bird hits that one into straightaway center field, holds up into the wind. And Jones is there to make the play, and we have 2 outs. And that'll bring up the center fielder, number 6, Soros. And again, I apologize to any TABR fans if I'm butchering names. Didn't get a pronunciation guide. First pitch swinging, and that ball is fouled straight back. 0-1. Pitch from Kleppe, and that ball is outside for a 1-1 count. 2 outs, runner at second base. The runner at second is Smith, the catcher, who lined first pitch she saw into left field. And there's a strike from Kleppe on the outside corner. And there's a swing and contact. Mayberry comes up with it, fires over to first base. Trying to go with the stretch, and the Bulldogs are out of the inning.
For the Blue Jays on the top of the second, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base.
For the Blue Jays, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left stranded. Due up for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the second is Christensen, Smith, and Mayberry.
Jenna Christensen.
And we're back, leading off the bottom of the second inning. Score 0-0. Still is Jenna Christensen, the Bulldog catcher. Christensen looking for her first hit of the ball game or of the day, for that matter. A couple of strikeouts and a pop out in game one. First pitch swinging. That's going to fall, and that's going to be an infield hit for the speedy Jenna Christensen. She got down the line good on that one. She was moving. And that'll bring up Allie Smith, the bright spot for the Bulldogs in game one. She had two singles, one to right center field and the other to left center field. Well, let's see if she can keep swinging a hot bat as the Bulldogs have the leadoff hitter aboard again. We'll see if she's bunting here to move her across or move her around. Nope. Doesn't show bunt, takes ball one. So at this point, it looks like Coach Segovia is letting her swing away. We'll see if that changes as Smith gets the signs from the Bulldog skipper down at third base. Here comes the delivery. She is not bunting, and she takes ball two inside. So 2-0, hitters count here. We'll see if Smith gets a pitch she can drive. And she takes strike one. Two-one count. Here comes the delivery. Now she shows bunt. She lays down a butte. Fielded by the pitcher. She throws over to the first baseman, Bejarano, and that moves Jenna Christensen over to second base. So she didn't show bunt through the first three pitches. Then she lays down a beauty and gets Christensen over to second base.
The shortstop, number 26, Jocelyn Mabry.
That'll bring up this Bulldog shortstop, Bulldog shortstop, number 26, Jocelyn Mayberry. And she takes a strike looking. Bulldogs have a runner in scoring position, looking to drive her in as Mayberry. Jenna Christensen on second base. She reached on an infield single and then was moved over by a sacrifice bunt. And there is a ball driven into center field, but the Blue Jay center fielder comes under it and makes the play for out number two.
Now ready for the Bulldogs. The left fielder, number 25, Heidi Fisher.
Bulldogs send to the plate number 25, Heidi Fisher, who's playing out in left field today. And she takes the ball low. I don't have the roster in front of me, but Heidi is a freshman from somewhere. I should probably look that up. And she takes ball two, but got enough going on with stats and play-by-play that I probably won't find that on the roster. But I do know she's from somewhere, yes. Delivery, and that's 3-0 inside. Let's see if Fisher is taking all the way or if she has the green light to swing away. My guess is she's going to be taking. Be my guess. In fact, I know that Coach Segovia has a policy on 3-0 that we take. And she takes strike one looking. I don't know if things have changed from last year, but I know swinging on the third or a ball 3-0 count would get you in some hot water. There's strike two looking for Fisher. Base count is full. Runner at second base is Christensen. Fisher fouls that off to stay alive. So the count will remain at 3-2. Another foul. So Fisher doing a great job of battling here. Seeing a lot of pitches. Choked up a little bit here. Try to make contact. Try to drive something into a gap. Score Christensen from second. And she fouls off another pitch. So this will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Quality at-bat here for Fisher. And the delivery. And she fouls another one back. And another foul ball. So 11 pitches. Coming up on 12 here. Quality AB here for Fisher. See if she can win this battle. And she gets a hold of that one, but pops it up to the shortstop. And that'll end the inning. So the Bulldogs get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left stranded on base.
For the Bulldogs in the bottom of the 2nd, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base.
Coming up for the Blue Jays in the top half of the 3rd inning will be the left fielder Zalewski, and then the top of the order, Primrose and Ortega. We will be back in a moment. And we're back. And during the break, I went to my computer and found out that Heidi Fisher is not just from somewhere. She's from Alito, Texas. So I will not make that mistake. And I know where she's from now. Leading off for the Blue Jays in the top of the 3rd is the left fielder, Zalewski. Or Zalewski, I don't know. And the lefty takes a called strike. Oh, 1. Kleppe delivers, and we have a swinging strike. So Kleppe in control here, way ahead in the count, 0-2. Let's see if she tries to fool her and get her to chase something, or she goes right at her. She throws outside, tries to get her to chase. She doesn't bite. 1-2. And the pitch from Kleppe is swung on and missed for strike 3. That'll bring up the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays, the second baseman, number 28, Madison Primrose. Primrose singled on the first pitch that she saw, or the second pitch, one of the two, in the first inning, hit a line drive into left field. She takes strike 1. And Kleppe again ahead in the count. Pitch from Kleppe. Kleppe is off the glove of Kylesia Taylor, and that'll be an infield hit for Primrose.
Now batting for the Blue Jays, the shortstop, number 11, Biane Ortega.
So that'll bring up the shortstop, Ortega, who struck out swinging in the first innings. But the Blue Jays again have a runner on the single by Primrose. Pitch from Kleppe, and Ortega pops it up into the infield. Taylor calling it, and she makes the play for the second out of the inning.
Blue Jays, the first baseman, number 17, Annalisa.
That'll bring up
Bejarano.
the first baseman for the Blue Jays, number 17, Annalisa Bejarano. She popped out to center field in her first at bat, and she looks at ball one. So far, Kleppe has 29 pitches, 21 of them for strikes and 8 of them for balls. So good command of her stuff today as she throws outside, just barely ball 2. 2-0 to Bejarano. Pitch is swung on and lined into the left field for the 4th hit of the game for the Blue Jays. And now the Blue Jays have 2 outs and runners on first and second.
Now right for the Blue Jays, the right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens.
That'll bring up the the right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens, who popped out to first in her first at bat in game 2. She looks at ball 1 to start the at bat. 1-0. Second pitch from Kleppe is a strike looking. Evens the count at 1-1. 1-1, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. The pitch from Kleppe is outside, changeup outside and a little bit high. Brings the count to 2-1. A swing and another line drive. This one into the gap. That's going to score a run. Jones collects it. They're going to wave the runner from second or from first, comes all the way around to score on the double by Stevens, who has had herself a day, her 3rd double of the day.
Now right for the Blue Jays, the catcher, number 18, Rihanna Smith.
So the Blue Jays strike first here in the top of the 3rd with a 2-out double from Stevens to give them a 2-0 lead, which brings Rihanna Smith, the catcher, to the plate. She takes a cut at the first pitch and fouls it back. Kleppe leaving a few pitches out over the middle of the plate, and the Blue Jays have capitalized. She sends the ball low and just a little bit away for a 1-1 count now here to Smith. Smith singled in her first at-bat to left field. Has a chance to drive in a run here. She sends one into the gap again, and just off the glove of Fisher, and that'll bring Stevens around to score. So stand-up double for Smith, and the Blue Jays have a 2-out rally going here, and they are leading 3-0.
Now right for the Blue Jays, the 3rd baseman, number 33, Alicia Lopez.
And there'll be a conference now at the circle for the Bulldogs. They try to regroup and stop the bleeding here. 2 outs in the inning. The runner at second base is Smith, who just hit a double into left center field, and that'll bring Lopez, the 3rd baseman, to the plate. And she's hit a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning. So she is 0 for 0 on the day. Pitch from Kleppe is a called strike. Blue Jays seem to be doing a nice job of staying patient and waiting for pitches they can hit, except for there. And we have a strike swinging, and then Christensen thought that the runner was advancing or trying to steal third, and threw the ball down to third base. And Kylesia Taylor was not ready for it. It went into left field. Fortunately, the runner wasn't going and was not able to advance. So 0-2 here. Pitch is outside for ball 1. Ooh, hot shot back to Kleppe. Wow, what a play. line drive right back into the face of the pitcher, and she gets a glove up and catches it. Amazing play. So for the Blue Jays in the third, 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. All right, Bulldogs down 3-0 heading into the bottom of the 3rd inning. The leadoff hitter is going to be Taylor Perez, and her first at bat of the game. Blue Jays finishing up their warm-up here in the inning as Smith throws down to second base, and we are going to get underway here.
Second baseman number 15, Taylor Perez.
Bulldogs going to need to find some life in those bats. Find a way to string a few hits together. Baxter set, and she delivers. And the strike swinging for Taylor Perez. Second pitch is called strike. Perez now down on the count 0-2. Look to cover up the plate, protect. Baxter will try to get her to chase here. Throws inside. Taylor does a nice job of getting the barrel out in front, just enough to get a barrel on it and poke it foul. She stays alive, 0-2 still. Change up there from Baxter, and Perez does a nice job of waiting on it less long enough. Get a barrel on it and poke it foul again. Keep the new life. Baxter throws high and outside for ball 1. Try to get Taylor to chase, and she won't bite. 1-2, no outs. There's a ball hit to the third baseman. We're going to call that a hit for the Bulldogs. Hot shot to the third baseman. It's a tough play for the third baseman to make when she's playing 2-3 steps in off the bag. That'll bring up Jessica Jones, who singled up the middle in her first at bat. Perez at first base, Jones the hitter. Baxter delivers. And Jones pops one up into foul territory, caught by Ortega. Nice play by the shortstop for the first out of the inning.
For the Bulldogs, the first baseman number 10, Brandy Trengo.
Well, that'll bring up the Bulldog first baseman, Brandy Trengove, who flied out to right field in the first inning. First pitch swinging, she lines one into center field. Center fielder short hops that ball, tries to make a play on Jones, who had to hold just a little bit to make sure it got down, but Jones with enough speed to get into second base safely. And the Bulldogs have something going here. 1 out with runners on first and second.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, the designated player, number 11, Miley.
And that'll bring up the Bulldog DP, Miley Deutsch. Woo. First pitch swinging and ropes a ball foul. Nearly took out one of the Bulldog assistant coaches, Tim Bruton, over there. But it hit the netting, and so Bruton's still alive, and we're glad for that. 0-1. And there's a single by Miley into right center field. That'll bring Perez in to score. Excuse me, I said Jones earlier at second. No, it was Perez at second. Jones flied out. So that single by Deutsch brings Perez in. That sends Tringove to third base.
Third baseman, number 30,
And Deutsch safely at first. That'll bring up Kylesia Taylor with runners at the corners and one out. First pitch is a ball in the turf. (1-0) for Taylor. One out. Runners at the corners. Taylor fouls that ball off. Evens the count at 1-1. So the Bulldogs, their first run of the day, cut the lead in third, 1-3, and one out, and still opportunity here on the base paths. Taylor looks at a high ball, moving the count to 2-1. And there's a ball. Wasn't quite sure on that call by the umpire. It sounded like a strike, but no signal. So ball 3-1. One out. And that's going to be ball 4. Blue Jays not wanting to mess around with Taylor to give her something she can hit because she can do some damage. And she draws the walk. That'll move Deutsch to second base. And the Blue Jays skipper will come out to the circle to discuss things. And we'll have Jenna Christensen at the plate with one out and the bases juiced. And while they discuss things, we'll take a short break. And we're ready to get back underway. Meetings are adjourned. And we're ready to play some softball again. So bases loaded, one out. Jenna Christensen at the plate. She's got some pop. She could do some damage here. Takes the first pitch, strike looking. Second inning. She hit a bloop little single to the in between pitcher and second base to get the first hit of the game. And she takes ball 1. I believe she led the team last year in doubles. Don't have those stats in front of me, but she definitely has some pop. And she's going to take low, ball 2. 2-1, one out. She takes a healthy cut at that pitch. Ball's just a little bit inside, got a little bit out in front of it. Rips it down the third baseline foul. So 2-2, one out. Just got to be patient here. Not get fooled on a changeup or something like that, or something out of the zone. Stay with it and drive it. And she lays off that pitch. Great discipline there by Christensen. Now she's got a 3-2 count. Nowhere to put her, so she's got to come to her. And she gives her something she can hit, and she fouls it just past third baseline on the foul side of the bag. Got to be right at her here. Can't be a ball. No place to put her. So Baxter going to have to come to her. Christensen just a little bit early on that one. That was the pitch she wanted. She waits just a hair longer. That's a grand slam, but as it is, that's just a long strike. So we do this again. And she waits her out and gets a ball 4 count, and that'll bring in Tringove to bring the Bulldogs score to 2 and the deficit to just 1 now.
Ready for the Bulldogs, the right fielder, number 3, Allie Smith.
And that'll bring up the right fielder, number 3, Allie Smith, who had a sacrifice bunt in the second inning, so she is 0 for 0 in this game. She's first pitch swinging as well, so that's a change that the Bulldogs have made since midway through the first game. Is they're trying to jump on the pitcher first pitch, and that one was just fouled just over the visitor dugout. Next pitch is the ball, and so we're looking at a 1-1 count, 1 out. Base is still loaded. Smith pops it up to first. Bejarano with the play, and that'll be the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Jocelyn Maybury.
Punch back for the Bulldogs, the shortstop, number 26, Jocelyn Maybury.
Maybury comes to the plate, and she flied out in the second inning to center field. So still bases loaded, 2 outs. Deutsch, Taylor, and Christensen as Maybury looks at strike 1. Pitch on its way. And Mayberry's going to pop that in shallow center field. It's going to be, they say she caught it. So spectacular play by the center fielder for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays get out of the inning with the least amount of damage possible. 2 runs for the Bulldogs on 3 hits. No errors and 3 left stranded.
2 left on base.
Tempted to get that styrofoam to go pull it up, but you know what's up, and you know that ain't gonna solve nothing. I mean, Lord forbid I might follow something, I'm all another cause to hold me down like bitch strapped to the psych ward. It's killing me, but you still with me when I fight hard.
So outstanding glove play by the Blue Jay center fielder Soros, who web gem there, NAIA top play maybe, as she slides in on a pop-up by Maybury and robs a base hit and keeps the Blue Jays on top 3-2. So leading off for the Blue Jays, designated player Madison Bird, who flied out her first time up. She's first pitch swinging. She pops that up. Foul territory. Tringove comes on to make the play, and we have one out.
Up to bat for the Blue Jays, the center fielder, number 6, Summer Soros.
So up to bat, that'll bring up the center fielder who just made that outstanding play. She is 0 for 1, grounded to short in the second inning. And she's first pitch swinging. She fouls that one off for strike one. Kleppe is at 44 pitches, 31 of them for strikes, 13 balls. No walks, I believe, to this point. And she gets Soros to swing through that one for strike two. And there's a ball up high, way high. 1-2, one out. Blue Jays clinging to a 3-2 lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Slow curve there by Kleppe and can't get Soros to chase, and so the count evens at 2. And the pitch from Kleppe, and it's fouled off. Another swing and another foul ball. So Soros staying alive here. 2-2, one out. Bird led off with a pop-up to foul territory on the first base side. And now we have a 2-2 count, one out for Soros. And she fouls another one off. And great pitch from Kleppe. Inside corner, called third strike.
Now back for the Blue Jays, left fielder number 5, Allison Zalewski.
2 outs now, and that'll bring up the left fielder, Zalewski, the lefty, who struck out swinging in the third inning. And she'll take the first one as a strike. Kleppe has done a really great job of getting out in front of hitters early, throwing first pitches for strikes or getting them to swing. And there's another pitch, and another swing and a miss. Kleppe has had Zalewski confused most of the day, and she'll take ball one. She's been out in front of a lot of pitches in her last at bat, and here again. Corners playing in, and another swing and a miss by Zalewski, and the Bulldogs are out of the inning 1-2-3. For the Blue Jays, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base.
No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base.
It looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Number 8. I'll find out what her name is here in just a second.
Pitching now for the Blue Jays is number 8, Hannah Jones.
Hannah Jones is now the pitcher for the Blue Jays, the righty. So that'll close the book on Baxter. 3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 5 hits, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts. So Baxter will not be in line for the win because in order to get the win, the starting pitcher has to pitch at least half plus one of the innings in the game. So the 7-inning game, pitcher has to go 4 innings to get a decision, win or lose. So Baxter will not be credited with a win or a loss, depending on what happens, the outcome here. Leading off for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the 4th inning is number 25, the freshman from Aledo, Texas, Heidi Fisher. Fisher had a great at-bat in her first one, and then she takes the first pitch here and pops it up to the first base side, and for 1 out.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, the second baseman, number 15, Taylor Perez.
And that'll bring out the Bulldogs' second baseman, number 15, Taylor Perez, who is 1 for 1 with a single, and then she came around to score back in the 3rd inning, so an inning ago. And she takes ball 1, low. Hit a hot shot to third base and got on base, and then she came around later to score. And she's going to hit another one into center field, but the center fielder is there to make the play for the 2nd out. So now to bring up the leadoff hitter, center fielder number 7, Jesse Jones.
Number 7, Jessica Jones.
2 outs for Jones. Time to start his 2-out rally here. Jones to Jones here, and the Bulldog Jones takes ball 1. Pitch and a bunt laid down by Jessica Jones, and she's going to be safe on an error by the Blue Jays. And that's going to be an error on the first baseman.
That's about for the Bulldogs. The first baseman, number 10, Brandy Trengo.
And that'll bring up Brandy Tringove, who takes ball 1. The Bulldogs have life. Ball 1 to Tringove, and runner on first base is Jones. And Tringove will send one to deep left field, and that's a home run. So the error is going to cost the Blue Jays as Tringove sends one over the left field fence to give the Bulldogs a 4-3 lead.
2-run home run on first baseman, number 10, Brandy Trengo.
So with one swing of the bat, the Bulldogs now have the lead, 4-3. Again, that error by the first baseman on the drop catch kept the inning alive, which allowed Tringove to come to the plate and hit a 2-run shot to give the Bulldogs a 4-3 lead, which will bring up Miley Deutsch, who grounded out to short and then singled to right center. She's 1 for 2 on the day with a RBI. She hits a ball on the ground to the second baseman, who fields it cleanly and throws over to first base to end the inning. But the Bulldogs get 2 runs on 1 hit. Yeah, 1 hit. 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and no one left on base.
For the Bulldogs in the bottom of the 4th, 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, no one left on base.
So both of those runs will go in as unearned runs, as the Blue Jays should have been out of the inning on the play before.
Blue Jays, second baseman number 28, Madison Primrose.
Leading off for the Blue Jays is the leadoff hitter, number 28, Madison Primrose, who is 2 for 2 on the day with a single to center field and then a single to third base in her last at bat in the third inning. So perfect on the day still. And first pitch to Primrose is a ball, high and outside. And she'll remain perfect on the day as she lines a ball into right field. And Allie Smith tries to make a play at first base, but Primrose too quick, gets down the line well, and has herself her third single of the day.
For the Blue Jays, shortstop number 11, Liane Ortega.
And that'll bring up the shortstop, Ortega, who struck out swinging in her first at bat and then popped to third in her second. So she's 0 for 2. But no outs, and she has an opportunity to hit maybe a sac bunt here when she shows bunt, but brings it back. It's dangerous here at the Bulldog Park here. Christensen coming back to make a play on that. Nearly sent my computer flying off the table, sent my mouse flying. She entered the broadcast. No press box out here at Bulldog Park, and so we're right up against the fence. And she hit the net, and then she shows bunt again. This time she pops it up, and Jenna able to make the play.
For the Blue Jays, the first baseman number 17, Annalisa Bejarano.
That'll bring up the first baseman, number 17, Bejarano. 1 out of the inning now. And she's swinging first pitch, and she pops that one straight up. And Tringove there to make the play.
Now batting for the Blue Jays, the right fielder number 24, Cassidy Stevens.
That'll bring up the Blue Jay right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens, who has done pretty much all she's done today is hit doubles. Popped to first in her first at bat in this game, but then doubled to left center in the third inning, and she had 2 doubles in the game before. So seeing the ball like a watermelon coming in. She takes ball 1, swinging to the second pitch is a foul ball. Evens the count at 1-1. 2 outs. Blue Jays with 3 runs on 7 hits with 1 error, and that error cost them as the Bulldogs were able to take the lead last inning on a 2-run homer by Brandy Tringove. And there's a rope. Not going to be a double this time. Going to hold her to 1 base, but she continues to swing the bat well and hits a single out into left center field. And that will bring up the catcher, number 18, Rihanna Smith. Smith is 2 for 2 in this game as well. She's a single and a double. And she looks at strike 1. 2 outs in the inning. Kleppe is throwing well. Hoping to get out of this inning. We have runners at first and second. 2 outs. Hoping to get out of this inning without any runs scored as she throws just outside, a little bit high, so ball 1. 1-1, even up here. Smith was part of that 3-run third inning where they had back-to-back-to-back hits, and she sends one out, fly out to right field where Smith is waiting to end the inning. So the Bulldogs escape. The runners on first and second, but the Blue Jays unable to drive them in.
Top of the 5th for the Blue Jays. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on base.
So for the Blue Jays in the top of the 5th inning, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. Still in the circle for the Blue Jays is number 8, Jones, starting her 2nd inning of work. Due up for the Bulldogs in the bottom of the 5th. Taylor, Christensen, and Smith. We'll be back in a second.
Leading off for the Bulldogs.
Heart of the order, due up for the Bulldogs here in the bottom of the 5th.
Taylor.
4, 5, and 6. Alicia Taylor to lead off. She is 0 for 1. She struck out in the 1st and then walked in the 3rd. She'll face Jones for the first time today, and she takes ball 1. Jones just 8 pitches so far, 5 strikes, 3 balls. Bulldogs jumping out and trying to hit a lot of first pitches. Taylor going to lace one out into right field, and they're not even going to try to throw her out at first because she runs really well. So base hit for Taylor. That gives the Bulldogs their 7th hit of the game, and the leadoff hitter on for Jenna Christensen.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, the catcher number 44, Jenna Christensen.
Christensen 1 for 1 with a walk and an RBI. She singled to second in the 2nd inning, and then she walked in a run in the 3rd inning, one of the Bulldog runs. And she'll take a strike looking. Smith bluffs down to first base to scare Taylor, but ends up not throwing. Just out in front and then on the hands, a little bit inside. Christensen couldn't get the barrel on the bat, and she hits one foul. 0-2. No outs. Coach Segovia electing not to bunt here, an obvious choice with Christensen's pop in her bat. Give her a chance to do something crazy. And she hits one out into right field. It's going to maybe be in the gap. But the Blue Jay center fielder with good speed covers that fly ball into right center field for the first out of the inning.
Coming back for the Bulldogs, the right fielder number 3, Allie Smith.
That'll bring up the right fielder number 3, Allie Smith, who is 0 for 1 on the day. She had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning, and then in the 3rd she popped out to the first baseman. First pitch from Jones here is a strike on the inside corner. Bulldogs with the lead 4-3, but would like to get a few more, get a few insurance runs here. Give Kleppe a little bit more breathing room. As Jones fires inside and Smith can't lay off of it, and she fouls that off. 0-2 to Smith, 1 out. Kylesia Taylor, who singled down the right field line just 2 batters ago at first base. Any ball in the gap is going to score Taylor because she runs really well. And the ball to Smith on the outside, 1-2. Any single is likely to score Taylor. Certainly something in the gaps is going to bring her around. Pitch from Jones is swung on and missed for strike 3. 2 outs, Taylor still at first base, and that'll bring up the second baseman, number 26, Jocelyn Mayberry. Her and Smith are discussing what pitches that Jones is throwing and how she's throwing them, and now they've got the game plan figured out, and Mayberry steps into the plate. Pitch from Jones. Swung on and foul tipped for strike 1. 0-1, 2 outs. Taylor at first base. Pitch from Jones, and that's swung on. That's going to land in down the right field line, and Taylor is going to stroll into third base, and Mayberry stays at first for a single.
Hard to bat for the Bulldogs. The left fielder, number 25, Heidi Fisher.
2 outs, runners at the corner, and that'll bring up the Bulldog left fielder, number 25, Heidi Fisher. Fisher 0 for 2 with 2 pop-outs, 1 to the shortstop, 1 to first base. Jones comes inside on her, and Heidi cannot get the barrel of the bat out in front. She fouls that off. 0-1. Pitch swung on and grounded to shortstop. Ortega fields it, fires over to Bejarano at first base, and that'll end the Bulldog threat. For the Bulldogs, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left stranded. We head to the top of the 6th with the Bulldogs with a 1-run lead, 4-3. We'll be back in just a moment. Leading off for the Blue Jays in the top of the 6th inning is the third baseman, number 33, Lopez. The Blue Jays will have the 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up in the top of the 6th. The Lopez is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt and a line out to Kleppe, who just got her glove up in time. And there's a rope down the left field line, fair. That'll be heading for 2, and she's in there safely. A double for Lopez. The ball was just inside the foul line. And that'll bring up the designated player, number 10, Madison Bird. Bird 0 for 2. Fly out in the 2nd inning to center field, and then she popped out to the first baseman in the 4th inning. She gets the signals from her coach on the third base line. No outs, runner at second base. Kleppe comes inside with a called strike. Bird shows bunt, but goes foul. 0-2. Other than the 3rd inning, when Kleppe left a few pitches out over the plate and the Blue Jays capitalized and hit like back-to-back-to-back and singles and doubles, she's been spot on with her pitches as she throws outside there, and Bird pops out to Allie Smith and then throws out Lopez at second. What a play. Great catch on the right field line by Smith, and then she comes up throwing as Lopez tries to tag up and go to third, and Smith guns her down at third base.
The center fielder, number 6, Summer Soares.
And that'll bring up Smith, who sends the first pitch out of play over the dugout down the first base. Excuse me, not Smith. Soares is up. Second pitch to Soros is the ball, so we have 1-1 count, 2 outs. After that spectacular catch and throw out right by Allie Smith, and great tag by Kylesia Taylor. And there's a slap into right field, just out past the outstretched glove of Taylor. And Soros with good speed makes it down the line as Allie Smith tries to throw her out at first base. Haven't seen that too often, but every once in a while you see that in softball where the ball hit to right field. If it's hit sharply enough and they don't run well, they can throw them out at first base, but not the case this time. So a single for Soros. That gives the Blue Jays 10 hits and a little bit of life here in the top of the 6th with 2 outs. And we may have a pinch hitter here. Looks like we're going to have a replacement for Zalewski. Looks like number 14.
Pitch hitter for the Blue Jays is number 14, Morgan Hayne.
Morgan Hayne is going to be pinch hitting for Zalewski. No stats on Hayne today. This is her first at-bat of the day. She replaces Zalewski, who was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. So Blue Jays rolling the dice here a little bit and bringing in a pinch hitter. Maybe she can do something. And she's going to look at a ball. So 1-0. And ball 2 in a row here to Hayne. And a strike. Two and 1, 2 outs, runner at first base. Soros at first runs well, so anything in the gap is going to be trouble. And Hayne looks at ball 3. So 3 and 1. You don't want to lose a pinch hitter here. Someone who's coming off the bench, hasn't swung a bat all day. Definitely don't want to be walking her. And she hits a ground ball to Kylesia Taylor, who throws on to Trengove at first, and the inning is over. So for the Blue Jays, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. And we head to the bottom of the 6th with the Bulldogs up 1, 4-3.
No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base.
Excuse me, no runs on 2 hits by the Blue Jays. I forgot about the hit from Lopez, who was then thrown out at third on that play by Taylor, or by Allie Smith. Coming up for the Blue Jays in the top or the bottom of the 6th, we're going to have Perez and then Jones and Trengove. So Zalewski re-enters at left field, and the Bulldogs will send Taylor Perez to the dish. Perez is 1 for 2. She had a single, the third base in the 3rd inning, and came around to score, and then she hit a line drive bullet, but the center fielder happened to be right there. She'll take a strike looking to start the at-bat. Bulldogs looking to salvage a split here in their KCAC opener, dropping game 1 4-0, but leading here 4-3 in the late innings, and that's a ball to Taylor. Blue Jay coach thinking that might have caught the corner. And there's an inside pitch, and she pops it up to the second baseman Primrose, and that'll be the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter for the Bulldogs, number 7, senior center fielder, number 7, Jesse Jones. And Jesse is 1 for 3 with a run scored. She reached base on an error in the 4th inning as she looks at ball 1. And then came around to score when Tringrove hit that moonshot to left field to give the Bulldogs the lead. 1-0 to Jones as she squares up to show bunt again. Pulls it back and then slaps that ball to second base. And she is going to be called out. 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring up the hero so far, Randy Tringrove, who gave the Bulldogs the lead back in the 4th inning with a 2-run home run over the left field fence. She got a nice fat ball down the middle to hit, and she took advantage of it. She is 2 for 3 with 2 RBI, and she looks at ball 1. Jones likely not to make the same mistake that she made in the 4th inning and leaving a ball out over the middle of the plate. And she's going to take ball 2 low and just a little bit away. Bulldogs are going to be in action just once this weekend, or the rest of this week. They had a home tournament scheduled for tomorrow and Friday, and a lot of changes in that tournament. The Bulldogs are going to end up playing only 1 game as Tringrove looks at strike 1. Starting tomorrow, we have 4 fields going in our McPherson Classic or McPherson Invitation, whatever we're calling it. 12 or so schools coming as Tringrove takes the pitch and pops it straight back. Play is going to get started at 12 p.m. tomorrow, and we'll be playing on 4 different fields. Wall Park, Central Christian is going to host a few of the games at their field here in town, and then Friday again starting at 12 and going until probably dark as we wrap things up. Tringrove fouls 1 off again to stay alive. 2-2, 2 outs. 2s across the board. Tringrove will look to keep the rally going here. The Bulldogs will be taking on William Woods tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 out here at Bulldog Park. We will be streaming that game live on the Bulldog portal as Tringrove looks at a ball to take the count to 3-2. Full count here. See if Jones wants to battle her here, if she throws the ball outside or inside out of the zone. She throws one down the middle, and Tringrove takes a whack at that one. She's going to send one high in the air to right center field, but the wind holds that one up, and that's going to stay in the ballpark for the 3rd out of the innings. The Bulldogs will head to the top of the 7th with a 4-3 lead. No runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on base as we head to the top of the 7th inning.
In the bottom of the 6th for the Bulldogs, no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base.
Leading off for the Blue Jays will be the leadoff. They'll have the top of the order back up, Primrose. So Kleppe will have to get the Blue Jays' best out to secure the victory here in Game 2. We'll be back in just a second. All right, we're back, and as we head to the top of the 7th, Primrose will lead things off. She is 3 for 3 with a run scored today. Bulldogs have yet to get her out in this game as she looks at ball 1. She has singled to center, singled to third, and singled to right field, so she's hit to all fields today. And the pitch to Primrose is a strike. 1-1 count. Blue Jays down to their final 3 outs here as the Bulldogs lead 4-3. And Primrose will pop one up. And Allie Smith calls off Taylor Perez to make the play in shallow right field. So they get Primrose out for the first time in the game. Pretty good time to do that. That'll bring up the shortstop, number 11, Ortega, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop out to third, and a bunt pop out to the catcher. She'll look at a strike called on the first pitch. Second one is a ball. And that'll even the count at 1-1 and 1 out. There's a swing by Ortega at a ball that's low, and she pops that, just gets enough barrel on it to pop it up and out and foul for strike 2. One and 2, 1 out, nobody on. Kleppe with a nice pitch to the outside, and Ortega gets just enough on it to stay alive. Foul ball makes the count 1-2. Kleppe gets the signal from Christensen. She throws inside and hits Ortega. Not what she wanted to do with a 1-2 count. That'll put Ortega at first base, and that'll bring up Bejarano, who is 1 for 3 with a run scored. She popped out to center, and then she singled to left in third, and then popped out to the first baseman in her last at bat in the 5th inning. Ortega, who runs well, will be looking for something in the gap here and maybe score. Bejarano takes strike 1 looking. So 1 out, 1 runner on after Kleppe hit Ortega with an inside pitch. She throws inside there to Bejarano, and Bejarano gets out of the way, and she might thought about maybe wearing that one. But she gets out of the way, and it's a ball, and it's even at 1-1. And that ball is going to be called a low for ball 2. So 2-1. Got a little drama brewing here in the top of the 7th inning with 1 out and 1 runner on, and a 2-1 count for Bejarano. There's ball 3, high and outside. So 3-1. And you got Stevens looming as the next batter. And all she's done today is hit everything. There's a strike call on the outside corner. Bejarano was thinking walk, and the umpire said no dice. That's a strike. And the count is full, 3-2. Bulldogs hoping for a nice easy ground ball here to get a little double play, and Bejarano says no, and she laces one into left center field for a single, and putting runners at first and second with the dangerous Cassidy Stevens up to the plate.
Up the bat for the Blue Jays, the right fielder, number 24, Cassidy Stevens.
Stevens 2 for 3 on the day with 2 RBI and a run scored. She popped out in her first at bat, and then she doubled and singled in her next 2. So looks like we're going to have a pinch runner here for the Blue Jays, as Coach Brewer trying to get a little more speed on the base paths, and he's going to put number 4, Knight, back into the game. She played the first game in center field. She's going to come on and pinch run for Bejarano. Bulldogs still one pitch away here. Ground ball, and the sharp ground ball hit to second base, or maybe up the middle to the shortstop. She can step on second or throw out, or Kylesia Taylor step on third and throw out. So Stevens looks at a strike. So Kleppe coming right after, throws a strike, first pitch. Stevens taking. 4-3 lead here. And Stevens Hits a line drive to Taylor at third base. It goes off her glove, straight up in the air, and then it falls into her glove for the out. So they get Stevens out. It's a big out. And that brings up Smith, the catcher, who's just as dangerous. First pitch to Smith is a strike looking. So Kleppe has done a fantastic job all game of getting first pitch strikes and getting ahead of the count. She does so here against Smith. 0-1, 2 outs. Smith is 2 for 3 on the day. She comes inside on her, gets her to pop up, and there's going to end the ball game and pop out to Kylesia Taylor down the third base line in foul territory. So the Bulldogs are going to pick up the win, 4-3, and Kleppe is going to go the distance and pick up the win. The Bulldogs will now move to 12-5 on the season and 1-1 in the KCAC. The Blue Jays are now 8-6, I believe, on the season, and also 1-1 in KCAC play. Excuse me. Bulldogs will be in action tomorrow at 3:30 in a single inning, 7-inning game against the William Woods Owls as part of the McPherson Classic tournament. Games are starting tomorrow at 10 o'clock out at Wall Park, and they're playing one over at Central Christian and then one here at Bulldog Park at 3:30. That's it for here at Bulldog Park. Bulldogs win. They pick up the split with the TABR College Blue Jays, and they'll be back in action tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in to our broadcast today, and we look forward to more games this season. We're going to do more broadcasts, and hopefully that'll be entertaining. So I'm signing out. I'm Jeremy Nelson, Sports Information Director here at McPherson College, saying see you later.